Pick up on this.
Yes, you said it, Chewie. You said it, my friend. You know, I've been from one end of this galaxy to the other, and I've never seen anything like Attack of the Sith show. All right. Anything in English. Okay. This is our look back at all those special moments when we unabashedly gave into our Star Wars nerdiness. And what better place to start than with that phenomenon known as the fan film, huh? We went to Star Wars Celebration 3 in the hopes of seeing raw footage of tubby guys in cheap Obi-Wan robes force choking each other in their backyard. And what we got was considerably better.
This is not the license you're looking for.
No, I need to see your license and your insurance.
This gets better every time we see it.
Now, one of the really big events here at Star Wars Celebration 3 are the fan films. There's 140 entries from all over the world, and they have to be kind of like a lighthearted spoof on the whole Star Wars saga. Or else George Lucas will sue them.
The winner of the 2005 Spirit of Fandom Award is Mark Rosciano for Boba.
And I'd like to thank my cat Harper, who pretty much is stealing the show.
It's my privilege to honor and give the best original song to Timothy Edward Smith for one season more.
Somewhere far, far away.
I'm just blown away and really just kind of speechless. I want to thank my... It's goofy at times, but it takes itself seriously at times too, so we've just gotten a lot of great feedback.
And every new day.
Now, since the fan films are supposed to be kind of funny, there's a lot of pop culture references. Thankfully, this year, there was no Paris Hilton. The winner of the Crossover Spoof Award this year, however, goes to Anakin Dynamite. God, idiots.
Hey, Anakin, what'd you do last summer?
I told you, I spent it in Tatooine hunting Tusken Raiders.
Did you kill any?
Yes, like 50 of them.
What'd you use?
A freaking lightsaber, what do you think?
Who did the character Anakin Dynamite?
That was a friend of mine's, John Baker.
He's really, really good.
He's the guy. I mean, there's very little acting. That's almost him.
Lightsaber skills, speeder bike skills, Jedi mind trick skills. You know, skills. God.
This is the Fan Film Awards. This is the film that you guys picked.
John Hutchins in the front.
You three are going to put on a talent show.
No, RT, you can't read the winner. Nobody understands what you say. The Best Comedy Award is Robert Reeves for Cheap Seats.
Woo! 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 What? We did? Oh, okay. Woo! 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 Woo!
Seeing Star Wars for the first time when I was about 9 years old in 77 made me want to be a filmmaker.
Now, speaking of Mr. Lucas, he actually gives his blessing to the whole fan film thing. And this year, he's actually picked a winner. It's called For the Love of the Film, which is kind of ironic because it's arguably better than Episode 1.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my...
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dust and crops, boy. Without precise calculations, you could fly right through a star, bounce off a supernova, and that end your trip real quick now, wouldn't it?
The winner of this year's award is For the Love of Film by Barry Curtis and Troy Metcalf.
that George Lucas would actually say my name and not be cursing me in like a traffic accident. You know, that it would be in a good way is just mind-blowing to me.
I know it's closer than before, but I'll be waiting here one season more.
Still nothing, really? You never saw a dime? Well, you know what? It's your own fault. You should have learned from Paris Hilton. I'm just saying. Just saying. Look, Chewie and I need to sweep the studio for Minox, so give us a minute. But after that, we find some practical uses for Jedi Hocus Pocus.
All right, time is up. Pencils down. Pencils down. Pencils down.
That's right, you're watching The Attack of the Sith. It's our look back at the show's favorite Star Wars moments. Now, even if you think the Force is a bunch of simple tricks and nonsense, you'd have to admit, it'd be pretty cool to be a Jedi sometimes, right?
No, Kevin, you are an idiot.
I am a bit of an idiot.
Yes,
I am a bit. No, and you know, you mod like a little girl.
I do like to mod little girls.
No! You're a little monkey boy who likes to be spanked. You are a monkey boy who likes to be spanked. You like the spanking. See, you're a dirty man. You're a dirty sick man.
Quit hitting yourself.
No,
Quit hitting yourself.
You quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
Quit rubbing your nipples.
I'm not rubbing.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna kill you. Oh, God.
Oh.
Sarah, please!
Hokey religions and ancient weapons, no match for a good blaster your side, kid. You said it, buddy.
Who are those clowns at the end? Yeah, whatever. You know, they say that the Force powers, they really only work on the weak-minded. So, well, why don't you go ahead and hump that cameraman's leg over there? All right, it was worth a try at least. All right, now, when Mark Hamill came on the show, you know, we fully intended to discuss his...
Get this thing away from me! Get it off me!
All right, we fully intended to discuss his animated voiceover work and his comic book series Black Pearl, but come on, it's Luke Skywalker. It was inevitable that Star Wars was going to come up.
Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go! If you need a hero, that's our name, you should know.
Super Robot Hyperforce Monkey Team Go. That's not easy to say, is it? This one was particularly hard for me to memorize, given the Alzheimer's, which is quite sadly spreading. Did we say it right, by the way? Super Robot Monkey... Hyperforce Go. I am Skeleton King. You notice I hesitated? because I don't want to accidentally say, I'm not even going to say what I did. I'll tell you off camera. I called him by the wrong name. And phone calls flew. Hey, I can get my mind around a robot monkey, but that's about it at this point. And isn't that enough? You'd think that would be enough, but no. It's got the kinetic energy of a Ninja Turtles, and it's got sort of the apocalyptic bent of a Marvel comic. Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. Did I say it earlier, right?
I think you said it right earlier.
Oh, good. Because I get memos that say, it's Hayden Christensen. I said, well, I said that. They said, no, you said Christian Haydenson. I said, oh, I feel horrible. Tell him he can call me Ham Markle if he wants. Sir Peter Hall said when he was directing me in Amadeus.
Must admit, I've not seen the Star Wars films.
I've never had a problem with that. But yeah, what card-carrying pop culture geek would admit I didn't see those movies? Kevin, shame on you. Shame on you. Now force yourself to see the original trilogy. I've just watched episode 3, and it's just a whole different set of stories for a new generation. I'm not really objective because we had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in my mind, it was really over. I think it's better to compare the modern ones within themselves and the old ones within themselves rather than to cross-generate. I did say, George, lighten up. I mean, get some humor in here. I mean, we had a character that said, hey, hokey religions and 2-bit. That was genius. Because you have all the cynics in the audience watching this sort of inherently cornball fairy tale dressed up in science fiction clothes. I thought you have to guard against acting like it's important. Because it really isn't. It's meant to be escapism for 8-year-olds. We didn't expect to be on the cover of Time magazine. The Batman series is still one of my favorite shows I've ever done. It's so well written, had a nice sense of variety, from the dramatic moments to silliness and satire and all of it.
And then we string him up and drop him in the tree. Any questions?
Joker's one of those characters that'll be reinterpreted like Hamlet, and there's no definitive. I love Jack Nicholson. I thought Cesar Romero was great. I mean, I would have asked him to shave the mustache, but other than that, it's perfectly legitimate to reinvent it for new generations.
Not now, Pooh. My audience who waits.
I realized with animation, you're not going to be seen, you're probably not going to get a lot of recognition, and it was really good and healthy for me to realize, who cares? I mean, if you really enjoy what you're doing at the time, you're working with people that are a lot of fun. There's no downside. I really feel a kinship. I think the fans know, I mean, that I'm one of them. Vicky Vale can't go into the Batcave. Alfred is so fired, you know, that kind of, I said that.
Robot monkeys, so overrated.
Now, I have, in the interim, seen some of the Star Wars movies, so... Oh, well, come on, there's like 8 of them. Give me a break. Jeez. Speaking of breaks, you're getting one now, but then we let the Empire try and recruit your sorry ass, and we have a look back at the making of the Revenge of the Sith video game. Now, we're not proud of this, but the Imperial Army once bought some ad time during Attack of the Show in a blatant effort to recruit our impressionable viewers.
Why did I become an Imperial soldier? Let's just say I was made to do this. I've seen the entire galaxy, from Ord Mantell to Dantooine. This is a brave new world, and I'm on the front line. That guy next to you, he's not just a fellow soldier, he's like a brother. Same with the guy next to him, and the guy next to him. Sure, it gets rough sometimes, but that's what we do. We keep the peace, and we keep people safe. Hey, they might not like it, they might resist, but in the long run, we know what's best for them. How do I know? Because I'm an Imperial Stormtrooper, and I make a difference.
The Imperial Army. Protect, serve, and quell. That's who we are, that's what we do. An army of one.
Now listen, kids, it's not worth signing up unless you get to be a scout trooper. Those guys are cool. It's worth it. Now, game makers used to be able to slap a few pixels together in the vague shape of an X-Wing and call the results a video game tie-in, right? But when they set about making a Revenge of the Sith game, the line between console experience and theater experience got a little blurry.
LucasArts and George Lucas wanted to make sure that the Episode 3 game experience was just as complete and as authentic as it possibly could be. So we've been working with George from the beginning. We were actually on set in Sydney, just to soak it all in, to walk around in the sets, and of course to be there the week that they filmed this totally exciting, emotionally packed final duel between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was awesome. We would join George at the art department at Skywalker Ranch to view the latest concepts, just to make sure that everything we did was in step with everything that was going on with Episode 3.
We had an amazing opportunity to have Nick Gillard, the stunt coordinator for all the Star Wars prequels, to come out from England and stay with us for a week, training all our animators on sort of the Jedi arts that he's been perfecting for the past few years.
You know, having played a few games myself, and as you're playing it thinking, God, I wish I could do this, or I wish this button did that. You know, we now, because we're working on this game, we're in a position to do that. So we're working particularly on footwork, exactly how they move, how their wrists move, when they turn, that they turn the right way.
And he brought the real lightsabers, so we all got to hold those and, you know, try them out on each other. And then he would show us, no, you don't hold it like that. You're going to get killed, mate. Hold it like this. So he would show us the way to use the lightsaber, and we really learned from that. And then when Hayden came to join him, it was even better, because now we're working on character.
With Hayden, we have something really unique. We've got someone who has trained for 11 weeks just for this movie, so he's got the muscle memory to do everything just right. And then on top of that, he plays a lot of video games. So he really knows the end application of what we're doing, because he just knows exactly what we're going for and is able to apply his knowledge right to what we're doing.
His posture, the way he is arrogant about blocking people, and the way that he is, his shoulders are sort of slouched forward, like he doesn't care anymore.
It really helped us completely understand the process that they go through when they're choreographing moves. So now our animators and designers are really excited, taking what they've learned from those sessions and integrating into the game itself.
The fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end of the film is epic, just unbelievable lightsaber fighting. Yeah, the game is just going to go nuts with that.
I've never been involved in a video game project. It was fantastic to work on.
It has all the fluidity and artistry of a finely tuned fight sequence in a movie, yet the player is able to take it any way they want.
Being a Jedi and learning the art of lightsaber sword fighting, that's what you're going to see in the game.
Yeah, whatever. I still say nothing beats a good blaster by your side, huh? Right, and a good sandwich. A good blaster and a good sandwich. You're always on point, buddy. All right, you scruffy-looking nerf herders. I'm taking a head count when we come back, but then we take a fond look back at the worst of Drunk Vader, and we recall oohing and awing over some Star Wars Episode 3 concept art.
Or have you ever been a member of the Communist or Nazi Party? Okay. Have you ever worked as a spy for another country? Okay, yes. No. Have you ever worked as a prostitute? Okay. And would you be willing to take up arms to defend the United States? Okay.
Oh, look. You're happy to be back. This is Attack of the Sith, our celebration of Star Wars geekness in all of its forms. Now, if the original trilogy is to be believed, then Darth Vader is a badass who'll kill his own soldiers at a moment's notice. In the prequels, however, he's kind of a whiny biatch. Yeah? Huh? Well, maybe neither of these things is true. Maybe he's just a drunk.
This is Drunk Vader. We're here at the ArcLight for a large gathering of sweaty Star Wars nerds. Vader here. Attack of the Sith. What number is it? What number is it? What are you looking at, buddy? Huh? I didn't like the sound of that. You know what? I don't like the look of you. So we're here with a collection of the coolest Uber geeks ever. What's up, dog? Yeah. Give me the pound. Oh.
My name is Princess Chela.
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 I didn't know Princess Leia was Guatemalan. You're 3? Yeah. And you're already a nerd? So we're here with the Walmart version of Boba Fett. Walmart Fett. What's up with the costume, buddy? Kid Fisto?
Oh, that's my Jedi name.
Yeah, Kid Fisto.
Yeah.
That's the worst name I've ever heard in my life. This is a dream come true.
Oh,
you look great. You look great. How old are you? Illegal?
Yes, 21.
21. Awesome, awesome. You know, you are way too good looking to be this nerdy. Excuse me, Turbo. What's your name? Becker? Is that your real name?
Yeah, it's my name.
Well, that's just a strange name for a gay Jedi.
For what?
But you got a f***ed up head, dude. You look like one of those crunch berries like old ladies collect that look like Lincoln. And this is your friend, the Wookiee?
Yeah, this is Lumpy from the holiday special.
Will you take your top off?
Hell no.
Will you let
It's
me?
not a perverted show.
So we're here with the Star Wars Miata. I believe it's a nerd fighter. R2, what are you doing? Get out of that car! We're witnessing an amazing event. There's some sort of nerd ballet. So guess who I ran into at the scene of all scenes, episode 3.
Drunk Vader! I think I know what you want.
Yeah, buddy. DVD
Whoa, there you
Chris,
go.
watch where you're putting that, buddy. Spoiler! I'm wasted! Spoiler! You're hot! Spoiler! I'm a jerk! And look, Darth Vader's in, he's in the fat chicks.
Ah, be careful with my head, Daddy. Ah!
That's not nice to say, because I'm into fat chicks, too. See you guys later. You know what? Me and D2 got a lot of business. You hold down the fort.
Okay.
You know I'll talk to you later.
You know what? That is a good idea, Chewie. I think we should reveal once and for all who Drunk Vader is. That's right, everybody. It's Sarah Lane. She drinks a lot. In the months leading up to the release of Episode 3, we were just like any other Star Wars fan, you know, trying to dig up as many pictures and plot clues as we could. And one of the people who really helped us out was concept artist Stéphane Martinière.
So you have done some really cool stuff. I went through your website and your book. What are some of the projects that you've worked on?
Well, the last big one was iRobot last year, which was released. I also worked on Uru, the Ages Beyond Mist.
Very cool.
That was a game for about 3 years. Project like Star Wars 2 also, The Astronaut's Wife, Virus, Red Planet. So a lot of projects in 15 years of working in the movie industry.
Wow, you've been all over the place. Yeah. What kind of information did they give you when you took on Revenge of the Sith?
Very little, actually. I was at the very beginning what they call Blue Sky, where it's just about developing ideas, very quick. And so, we had some very brief lines about, different planets, different environments, and we were exploring different looks without really being tied to a particular design. And then from that point, George was picking up some ideas, deciding, which one was more interesting, and then start to zoom in slowly into a more detail of the area, until we reach a point where the design is final.
Very cool. So what are we actually have some of the different clips. Can you explain to us some of the stuff that we're seeing here?
Yeah, this was a street that was developed for Coruscant on episode 2. Some of the design did make it, some didn't. This was a long shot of the down on Coruscant called the Canal Sector, and then the Ring Sector. It turned out to be too architectural, much too big for what George had in mind at the time. I was thinking actually maybe on using it on episode 3, and so as of today, I don't even know if it's making it a movie, but that was one of the process of developing ideas right off the bat and exploring, as far as we could, and then see how George was responding from it.
And then here's some droids right here. How do you go about creating, new droids and things that have never been created before? Does George sit down and say, this is kind of what I'm looking for, or do you just kind of go free? Or
absolutely. I mean, the idea behind all these droids is that they were supposed to represent different races. And so we wanted really to carry the idea that there's different planets, different type of races, and each race has its types of robots, so that there's really a mix of different shapes and forms all over the spectrum. So it's not just the typical, robots that we've seen so far. Now it's like multiplied by 100 planets and 100 different worlds.
Wow, that's very cool. Yeah. So tell me about your design process on the computer. Now, is this something that starts off with just a sketch and then you move it to the PC, or are you working in Photoshop full time? How does that work?
Very traditional at the beginning. I start with a sketch, very, very rough most of the time, just to get the composition going.
This is beautiful. What is this right here?
This was for a book cover based on the Ringworld series. And I tend to work in a very classical way. So the first thing that is most important to me is to come up with a mood and a feel for the overall, and find out, very, very quickly a palette that's going to build up and create the paintings. So it's building layers upon layers, the way a traditional painter would do it, with its own colors.
So there's no 3D. I mean, some of this stuff looks like you could have used Maya or a 3D application to help you out, but this is just all. I mean, there's no photographs that you took to bring into this for the clouds. Is this all Photoshop?
Actually, Photoshop is what it does best. It allows you not only to paint, but also use photographs and use them as textures. Simple, sometimes elements that you can manipulate, and so it's a whole of mismatch of what works based on what the painting dictates. And so some paintings would use more of a Photoshop in terms of using more photos for textures. Some others would be more classic and use more paintbrush.
I see. Do you have another example here that we have pulled up? What is this one here?
This one was for another a book cover called Elantris, and this one was based on a very classic, princess stories, but there was these huge architectural elements, and there was this kind of dark side to the story that I tried to capture with the environment and that giant cities in the background. And again, it's one of these very classical approach to try to come up with a color and a mood very quickly and then build up from it. The book that I have talks more in detail about, the exact process step by step.
So, speaking of books, you're also featured in a new Star Wars graphic novel, though, right?
That's right, yes.
Tell me about that.
We were approached about a year and a half ago, the entire team of Star Wars 3, to come up with our own graphic novel. We had the choice to do pretty much whatever we wanted. The only requirement was that it had to stay in the Star Wars universe. But
that's got to be fun. I mean, they give you kind of
absolutely.
Free realm to just do whatever you like.
For me, actually, very, very much, because for years I had been trying to do comic books and never had a chance to finish one. So this was, the chance for me to do something finished. And, it's like, what can be any better than doing it for Star Wars?
Very cool. Can't wait to check that out. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, I don't know about art. I just don't. But I know what I like. Yeah. Hey, remember we talked about all those Star Wars fan films? Well, we're going to chat with the guy behind one particularly good one, Star Wars Revelations, next. Welcome back. We've been marveling at just how many times we've had something Star Wars related on Attack of the Show, and by God, we're nerds. Yeah. It's all right, though. It's okay, because guests like Star Wars fan film creator Shane Falux, well, they know exactly where we're coming from.
Terran Anwar, you are hereby under arrest for treasonous acts against the Empire.
Now, Sergeant, I'm sure you can understand why I can't accompany you.
I can shoot you here.
But you won't.
down, Commander. This is Imperial business.
Corsac is still the reigning authority here.
I have reinforcements on the way. I say again, Commander, stand down.
Is there a back door to this place?
Unfortunately, no.
That one?
Fan films are certainly nothing new, but you've really got to hand it to the few people out there who aren't satisfied with Super 8 epics featuring siblings dressed in bad Halloween costumes. Shay Fay Lukes, director, star, and executive producer of the Star Wars fan film Revelations, is one such person. Shane, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Now, tell us about the story for Revelations. I mean, this picks up right after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. We think it ties in pretty strongly. I mean, it ties in which the Jedi Temple has been completely destroyed. The Jedi are now being hunted. So in our story, they're underground. So the Jedi are now looking for an ancient artifact that's said to give them great power. Of course, the Empire wants to find it to eliminate the rest of them. And then come episode 4, our story kind of helps to understand or explain what happens to all the Jedi. So hopefully it's a good adventure.
Now tell us, why a fan film? I mean, the production value on this, you could have made your own big sci-fi movie.
Sure. Well, I mean, first and foremost, we're fans. I mean, if you had a chance or a dream to live, be in Star Wars, would you go for it? If the technology is there, the skill set is there, I mean, it's available for consumers that you can take your home computer, make a film, and live in Star Wars. Wouldn't you want to do it?
Did you give yourself a cameo?
I didn't want to. I swear I didn't want to act.
You didn't want to put on the Jedi robe? Come on.
No, and we don't wear Jedi robes, But my wife, Dawn Cowings, who's the writer and producer and costume designer of the film, she wrote Cade with me in mind. I just wanted to direct, but I couldn't find anybody since it's independent, so I said, fine, I'll do it.
Let's talk about the special effects in the film. I mean, they're spectacular for something that's, gosh, homemade. I mean, what software did you use? How did you do those 3D renders? Tell me how you achieved it.
We used anything and everything in the kitchen sink that we could throw at it, and it's a unique combination because it's really never been done. We're making 3D Max, Lightwave, Bryce, Cinephore, Terrigen, making it all play together, and everything's coordinated online. So you're taking all these applications and making them work for one production. So it's kind of cool.
How much is that software?
Well, it varies from length. I mean, you're talking about your
Give me the high end and the low end.
$5,000 down to a couple $100.
Okay, for which kinds?
For Max, Lightwave, Cinephore, and Maya, those are your high end. Your low end, which would be Bryce, Terrigen, a lot simpler, well, not simpler, but affordable solutions. And even today, the prices keep going down, so where your consumers can pick up and start creating these things.
Now, there's this amazing sequence that we're about to take a look at, the shipyard scene. Can you set this up for us and tell us what's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, the shipyard almost didn't get made, actually, and wanted a whole action sequence to climax for the close before that. So it's done by one artist who did it in 2 months, believe it or not, and it's a whole action sequence.
I mean, if it was rendered more high res, I mean, this is good enough to be used in Revenge of the Sith. Tell us more about this sequence.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole chase is one of these TIEs coming after him. He crashes into this array within the Corellian shipyards. We really wanted to show that, which causes a chain reaction that falls and crashes down into a bulk cruiser, which breaks loose from its coupling. And then as the exigence that's coming in, and we see the Cougar go by, smash right into that dude, and boom. I mean, you got to blow stuff up.
And it blew up real good.
It blew up real nice, didn't it?
Cool.
Yeah.
How much did this whole project cost?
Well, I mean, my budget was $0, but what it wound up costing me, a little under $20K. And I brought you the coveted Revelations DVD. Now, you have no idea.
DVD special edition.
You have no idea how coveted.
Me wanty.
2-disc set.
2-disc set.
That's yours.
Great. And I gotta throw you some props for that. I mean, there are more women in Revelations than there are in the whole 6 Star Wars movies.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah.
I mean, if you lived in the time of the original trilogy and you weren't making it with Princess Leia, you're pretty much screwed.
Pretty much. But yeah, I really wanted. In the industry alone, I don't feel there's enough strong female characters. Revelations is written by 2 women, Dawn Cowings and Sarah Jaworski. It's produced by a woman, my wife, Dawn Cowings. It stars women, and I like women. So let's make a movie.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I believe you.
So,
and I do have one little critical thing, and this actually applies to a lot of fan films. And you can look on this as a compliment because you and George Lucas, I think, have something a little in common, and that's The acting is not the highlight of the film. I'm sorry to have to say, I'm being honest, but the...
Give me the DVD back.
Yep.
Give me the DVD back. No.
Please, but like, talk about that. I mean, were you using a lot of friends or local theater actors? How did you pull together the cast?
Absolutely. I mean, you understand from an independent level, I'm using my friends. This is also our first film. I have to say I'm very proud of my cast because I've never seen harder dedication and devotion for 2 years of shooting, and it took a lot out of them.
Tell us what's next for you.
I don't know. Hopefully another film, original film.
Revelations 2?
No, I can't afford it. No, we're hoping that if I can find the financing and the backing, because I can't afford to do it myself, is to go in and do an original story that's bigger than Revelations, and I'm already starting to work on the story.
Well, as a showpiece, I mean, this is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, this is what we did with nothing. Now imagine what I could do with a real
I'm just waiting for the first fan film director like yourself to cross over into mainstream Hollywood filmmaking.
I'm trying,
Congratulations. Great.
Thanks.
Oh, Shane Faylukes. Nice guy. Fun name to say. Got to throw him some props on that one, right, Chewy? Right. Now, doing a show like this ain't like dusting crops, boys. No, we need a break. But then Chris Gore, well, I mean, that's enough to make a comeback, right? Chris Gore. Come on.
I've known Chewbacca since he was an Ewok, and this guy's the best. I remember one time we were in Vegas. You remember that? I woke up in a bathtub full of ice, and then that Komodo dragon. This guy rubbed lotion all over my area. Not a lot of people do that. That's right, you know what I'm saying? Sid is sitting right here. Sid is, I'm done.
Welcome back to our celebration of Star Wars geekery. Now, regular viewers know Chris Gore is the guy who comes in every Tuesday screaming about DVDs and making Sarah nervous. Well, he's also the founder of Film Threat magazine and, believe it or not, a bit of a Star Wars fan.
Is this the best a rebellion can send? A little girl?
I'm a Jedi. Really?
The Star Wars hype never ends. Film Threat is actually sponsoring a Star Wars rarities on video in Hollywood at a place called Cinespace. And of course, the guy behind Film Threat is none other than Chris Gore.
We're premiering some Star Wars shorts. Return of Pink 5 and Nerd Hunter.
I'm totally clear to land.
You are totally clear to land.
And you want to take me shopping afterwards.
And I want to take you shopping afterwards.
Pink 5 is this valley girl who is sort of peripherally involved with the characters from Star Wars, and she's kind of in the background.
I don't really care what you heard. The other guy totally shot first.
We get to see her in a slave Leia bikini.
Stacy, oh, wow.
My favorite bikini ever.
Salacious. No, I just took you out. Well, you're gonna have to hold it. I'm busy. Get off my leg. No, you don't.
People always compare it to like Clueless meets Star Wars. In 2003, we won the George Lucas Selects Award for Pink 5, which was such a Cinderella story. It cost $4 to make that movie. And then in 2004, for Pink 5 Strikes Back, we won the Audience Choice Award, which was equally awesome because the fans picked us.
What I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
You're making this up as you go along, aren't you?
Nerd Hunter 3004.
It's a short film. It basically takes place 1,000 years in the future when being a nerd is completely illegal. So they go about and assign people, sort of like in Blade Runner, to hunt down nerds.
What do you know about comic conventions?
I know that they're illegal.
You like toys, figures?
Of course not. I don't even know what they are.
Do you think that's a realistic scenario for nerds of today?
I think it'll probably happen in about 500 years, not 1,000 years, but it will happen.
It's frozen or something. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, freeze? That's easy. Just hit Alt-C while holding down Shift and you...
Can you hold this down, nerd? You're busted.
Being a nerd myself, I know that we're very dangerous and we've got to be stopped.
Once there was a time when being a nerd was something to be respected. And now, don't forget what they did!
We shot like 80% of Nerd Hunter green screen, and then the other shots we just stole from outside.
Come on, Normal. Let's see what you got.
So, are you really a nerd?
Fully, full-on, geeked out nerd. Fully.
Are you, what kind of... Whoa! What's that say?
I heart nerds because I am one, and
See, guys, it's not that bad.
I'm planning a comic book convention, and I can feel it. You don't have any proof yet. I know how they think. I did. Delete that kid. What do you care? He's just a nerd.
Nerd Hunter, 3004.
Sorry, what? No, I don't know what Chris uses in his hair, but don't worry about it. You look fine. You got a good look going for you. You like it too, right? It's a little Sasquatch / Black Sabbath roadie thing. It's cool. I dig it. Don't go change it. Don't go changing. Look, we're almost done here, but we're going to answer some questions and maybe play a little Hide the Wookiee next. I meant that literally. Oh, come on. Attack of the show, baby. Attack. Just give it back. Yeah, okay. Yes, I get it. You're placing the blaster in a comical area. That's very funny. Give it... Nope, nobody's laughing. Like, it's old. It's actually kind of it's lame, actually. I don't even want to... Can you wipe it off first? Just rub it against the... All right, it's time to tackle your Star Wars questions. Here we go. Cool as Sith 345 asks Kevin, now that you've finally seen the original Star Wars movies, what do you think? That's the answer. Sai finally asks, if you had to choose between living in the Star Wars universe or living on Star Trek, or at least in that universe, what would you choose? Interesting question as well. I would choose the Doctor Who universe. And hear me out here. I have a weakness for scarves. Plus, I would never really have to ever do anything. It's a pretty sweet gig if you think about it. And a close second would be the new Battlestar Galactica universe for two simple reasons. Hot robots. Hot robots. That's good, right? You want to play with the Wang Blaster a little bit more? All right, go ahead. You sell it. That's good. R5D4 asks, is Drunk Vader really drunk in his segments? No, R5, he is not. He does, however, have like a massive metal plate in his head, so all the producers have to do is wave a magnet anywhere near him, and bingo, you've got a performance. That's good stuff, right? That's a little behind-the-scenes magic for you. It also works with microwaves, oddly enough. So don't nuke a Hot Pocket when he's near, or else he will piss himself, yes. Sith Blaster asks, hey, Kevin, in your opinion, who is the most annoying character or species from Star Wars? They're all lovable. Anything to add, Chewie? All righty. Look, I know that there's still some Cheetos in the green room. I'm out of here. May the Force be with you. Good night, everyone.
Show provided by Intel. Game on. Power up. Take control with the Intel Pentium Processor Extreme Edition.